Eric Metcalf. Hold on real quick. Go ahead and get us started, though.
Hey, how everybody doing? It's the TD Report. First week of the NFL season is in the books, and we about to keep you abreast on everything all season long. If you see back here, guys, is my Cleveland Browns. I got Eric Metcalf. I got Nick Chubb. I'm being a homer on the show. Uh, they got me a Jody football right now. If you look right here, it's Jody football. But hey, guys, we got an action-packed year this year. We're gonna be doing so much from week one to the end of the season, and in between, we're gonna throw some college football, some NBA in there. We're gonna give it to you live. Check us out week in, week out. Mondays 7:30, Thursdays 7 o'clock. We're gonna give it to you live every week. So hey, if you like football, if you like sports, you need to come and join the TD Report. So don't just watch it. Subscribe to the page, like us on Facebook, subscribe to YouTube, and come and be a fan. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend about what we about to have this season. I will be with you guys all year long. I am Jody Football, the Midwest reporter, and I'm about to just give it to you right now. So I'm the only one on. So I'm not gonna go into in depth into what we got going on, but I just want to give y'all a couple updates before we get started. The right tackle for the Cleveland Browns, Jack Conklin, is out for the remainder of the season. DeJuan Jones, the third-round pick of the Cleveland Browns, will be coming in to be a starter. I'm sorry, the fourth-round pick for the Cleveland Browns will come in as the starter right tackle. Also, Nakobe Dean for the Philadelphia Eagles hurt his foot. He will be out a few weeks. As well as Cam Hayward of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He will be out for a few weeks. Unfortunately, injuries happen in the NFL. We had a few other guys that got hurt, got nicked up. And the one that breaks my heart more than anything, because I'm an Ohio State fan, is J.K. Dobbins will be out the remainder of the season. Torn ACL, torn Achilles, I believe, but he will not play this season. Unfortunately, the young man just can't catch a break. I'm hoping his career is not over, but he will be out for the remainder of the season. So I can see the Baltimore Ravens looking to make a move to either try to go after Jonathan Taylor at running back from the Indianapolis Colts, or see if there's some free agent running backs out there like a Kareem Hunt that can come in immediately and help out with that running game. Because I think that's still, even though they have a new offensive coordinator in Baltimore, running the ball is what's going to get them to the next level. So in that case, I'm looking for a couple free agent guys to go to Baltimore. They have a couple division games coming up. They have the Cincinnati Bengals, who are going to be hungry for a victory. Then after that, in a couple weeks, they have the Cleveland Browns. So they have two more divisional opponents coming up. And you know how, if you don't want to get too far behind in that division, with all the powerhouses in that division, with the Bengals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, now the Cleveland Browns look like they're going to be a factor, and of course the Baltimore Ravens. Unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game, and it's almost like you have to plan for that. It's almost like you have to plan for injuries. That's why you have 53-man rosters and other guys on the practice squad, because one thing we can't do is say, oh, we couldn't win a Super Bowl because we didn't have enough depth. I think those days are back in the day problems. Now you have to have everybody coached up to the same level. Having injuries cannot be an excuse, i.e., the Kansas City Chiefs losing to the Detroit Lions. We can't say, well, they didn't beat Detroit because they didn't have Kelsey. It doesn't matter. Somebody has to step up and fill that void. And when you have number 15 at the quarterback position, you need to find ways to win. And Kadarius Toney did not help out his quarterback by the least bit, dropping several passes, one on being tipped and intercepted back by the rookie sensation out of Alabama. Brian Branch returned it for a touchdown. First interception of his career, has to be monumental. He intercepted the great Patrick Mahomes. I'm pretty sure he has that football, and because he scored a touchdown, and that's what really got Detroit back in that game and was able for them to win. Several other drop passes throughout that game had happened, but nevertheless, you can't blame it on injuries or holdouts or whatever it is. You have to find ways to win in the NFL. That's just the bottom line. There's no way around not being able to not be able to win because of injuries. And there go my guys right there.
Hey, Jody, thanks for opening for us. Everybody, definitely hit us on Spotify as well if you would. Definitely, go ahead and add us on Spotify. Jody started us off today. We got Tony Kennedy here. We've got a big first week of the NFL to talk about. Jody already got us started on a great point that I wanted to bring up. Quite a few key injuries that first full week of the NFL. Talk to me about Cam Hayward and what he means to the Steelers in general. They took it on the chin from the 49ers, but losing Cam Hayward's probably got to hurt worse than any loss on the loss on the in the on the scoreboard. Excuse me.
Absolutely, Dave. I think Cam Hayward loss is going to be monumental to the Pittsburgh Steelers because he's the heart and soul of that defense. Yeah, we know who TJ Watt is, and we
He
know
is
who
him.
he is that guy. But Cam Hayward is that straw that stirs the drink in Pittsburgh. Not only on the offensive, I mean the defense side of the ball, but the offensive side of the ball. I think he's the undefiable leader on that team. And I feel like he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And when you lose a guy that can play too many techniques on that line, he can run the nose tackle, he can run the edge on that 3-4 defense. When you miss that guy, and he's probably one of the premier run stoppers in the league, even after about 11 years in the league. So Cam Hayward is going to be a huge loss. They got the Cleveland Browns Monday night. We know what Cleveland's going to do. Cleveland ran for over 160 yards rushing as a team, and they had Nick Chubb over 100. You had Deshaun Watson over 45, and then the second-year running back Ford had 36. So they were spread. Oh, and Elijah Moore had 2 carries for over 20 yards. So they even put him in the backfield. So Pittsburgh is definitely it's going to be a problem if they don't get somebody to fill that void on that defensive line.
Let's bring and thanks for that, Jody. Let's bring Tony in. Significant injury in Baltimore right off the bat. J.K. Dobbins. It's going to be an Achilles. He had a knee, I think it was 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago. Just kind of getting back from that, and then goes down in the first week of the season. Tony, you're a running back. That Achilles, man, that's almost like a knee injury. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Hey guys, I wanted to kind of bring something to you. I think Baltimore needs to get rid of that number 27. That number has been just like jinx since Ray Rice did what he did in the elevator. No, it's just not been successful at all. I feel bad for J.K. Dobbins because, but believe it or not, he was the key. He's the key to Baltimore making the Super Bowl run. Because now everything's going to fall back on Lamar in the running attack. Lamar may be the leading rusher. Was he the leading rusher yesterday?
I think Gus Edwards led the team in rushing.
yep, Gus did.
Well, they're going to need Gus Edwards to really come along. But they're going to need a number 2 back instead of Lamar. Because if it's not, it's just rinse and repeat, with their system. They are more dangerous when Lamar's not the leading rusher. Okay, that's how their system should work.
Let's talk about something. Let's talk about some of the other games that happened on Sunday. And by the way, everyone here from the TD Report, this was like Christmas. Okay, everyone was excited about the opening of the season, and I thought they had a great season opener, pretty much across the board, with the exception of one really lopsided or 2 lopsided games that we're going to talk about later. Don't go off yet, Tony. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're gonna talk about Jody already talked about the Browns. We're gonna talk about that other team down in Texas. We're gonna talk about them later. But let's talk about the Washington Commanders. Sold out house here in DC. New owner in the building. Magic Johnson in the building. A new vibe and a new start for the Washington franchise. And they opened it up with a W. It wasn't pretty. I thought that Washington should win that game by 14. But look, at this point, I'm gonna go with the Vin Diesel. It don't matter if you win by an inch or if you win by a mile. Winning is winning. And Washington put up a W in week 1. Not bad. I liked it. What'd you think about the game, Tony?
It was a great game. I think Washington's only issue is that O-line. And in that division, in the NFC East, they're going to have a little bit of problem because everybody's strength, including theirs, is defensive line. every team in the NFC East has a real good D line. So that's going to be an issue.
Well, not New York.
I think they
New
do.
York does have a pretty decent line.
Dexter Lawrence.
What happened? What happened last
Zach
night?
Martin. Hey, Dave. Zach Martin happened to Dexter Lawrence. Don't think that anybody could block Dexter Lawrence. Don't think that
Okay.
Leonard Williams. Nobody can just block those two guys.
No,
It
Hey, as
just
we give a shout out to Boss Man Robinson, our good friend, and all the G Men fans out there, we got to talk about this before we get too far down the road. I've been watching the New York Giants as an NFC East aficionado. I've been watching them for a solid 45 years. That's the worst I've ever seen the Giants play in a big, whether it's a big game that didn't mean nothing, preseason. That was absolutely terrible. Now, I don't know how good Dallas is, and I don't know how bad the Giants are, but I don't think a 40 to nothing really even encompasses just how bad it was.
can,
Dallas
can,
had 7 sacks and
7 sacks.
forced 5 fumbles in one game. That's ridiculous.
So let me say something. I told you guys Dallas defense was going to be good. I didn't think 40 nothing good, but here's the key. The key to Dallas is Parsons because he makes everyone else around you better. Everyone else is getting sacks because they double team Parsons 50 to 60 to 70% of the time. Did you look at the film? Look how much they were doubling him. And
Yeah.
by them concentrating on Parsons, that is why they move him. They don't move Parsons around because he's weak. They move him around because they want you to focus on him while everybody else gets you.
Hmm.
That is chess. That's football. Now, do you run at people like Parsons and LT? Yes, you're supposed to because you want to neutralize what they're good at, is their speed. But that guy right there is different. Jody, he is different. He is different. He is different.
I'm definitely going to agree with the Michael Parsons is a premier defensive player in this league. For anybody to disagree with that, it's absolutely. I don't even know if they know the
We got
game, and I'm
Clark
not going
going.
to disrespect anybody knowing the game or not. Dave, that's not what I'm here to
Oh
do.
no, you know
But if
me.
you
I
don't
just
think
keep thinking.
Michael Parsons is a ball player,
I back with
regardless of how many snaps he plays, he affects the games in so many different ways. But I'm gonna go a little bit different, Dave. What I think the key component was for the Dallas Cowboys. It was the acquirement of Stephon Gilmore at the cornerback position.
Good.
Now
Good.
you have him on one side, Diggs. You can't. They get so you got two number one corners, and they can blitz more. And you know when you can blitz more, you can get to the quarterback. They don't have that much time. So with the offense that the Dallas Cowboys have, and now the defense is creating turnovers, and they're going to be playing from ahead. You can blitz and you can lead those two guys on the island. We people must not forget that Stephon Gilmore just about 3 or 4 seasons ago was a defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he's a heck of a ball player. I saw plays being made for Dallas at every level on that defense. They scored on all 3 phases of the game before halftime. They blocked a kick, ran it back for a touchdown. They had a pick six on defense, and of course, they scored on offense. So when you're able to do that, when you're able to do that, you Ryan, what do you think, Tony? When you're able to do
Remember,
that,
everybody was talking trash about Diggs. Well, Diggs
Diggs
only
had a
forced
big
the interception,
Diggs put a big hit,
and then
put a
he
big hit on
stripped another
Saquon.
fumble.
Yeah,
Man, listen, man, all that trap people's talking about, Dallas is dangerous because the defense is really good. But now Brandon Cooks, that kid, when he get that chemistry with Dak, it's gonna be over.
The thing about it, Tony, I don't think anybody that was saying Stephon Diggs wasn't the premier cornerback once again
just
is
hating.
because
They just hating.
they probably just don't like the Cowboys. And I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I'm a football fan. And when I look at that roster from top to bottom, there's as talented as anybody in this league. So I made a mention of Stephon Gilmore, but we also got to talk about the emergence of the third corner in Bland. Bland is going to be a key component on that secondary because once again, teams are going to try to spread that team out. Like when Philly come to town and when they play the likes of Aaron Rodgers next week, and they're going to try to spread them out because
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo, they're not going because you can't go toe to toe with the Dallas Cowboys with the pass rush that they have. They're going to have to find
Hmm.
some ways to spread them out. They're going to have to. The only way you're
Hmm.
going to beat the Cowboys is spread them out and hope. Fingers crossed that Dak Prescott make bad plays, and I don't see Dak Prescott making that many bad plays like he did last year.
I like what you guys said there. I think what you have to do with Dallas is on deep going against their defense. You have to spread them out and you have to run right at them out of those spread sets. That's what
Run
you
right
have to
at
be
him.
able to do. If you can't do that, if you can't get into that A gap against Dallas in the running game against on a spread offense and spread them out with four wide receivers to thin them out, you could be in for a long day. It's and the only issue Dallas is going to have is if they cannot score. But Dallas right now has the defense to be able to play old school NFC East football. They can win games. Dallas now can win games 24-17, 17-10. They can throw those types of things out there. Now let's move over to the Eagles real quick,
Hold on, real
guys.
quick, Dave,
Yeah,
before
go
you
ahead. Go
move on.
back to that. Go ahead, Jody.
Tony, I want this is what I really was disappointed in Dallas. They need to have Trey Lance in a uniform because that would have been great work to get him in that one quarter, getting some continuity, getting some passes in that fourth
Agreed.
quarter.
But he's third string quarterback.
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, Tony, is they need to move him up and let him get some reps. We know what Cooper Rush can do. We know Cooper Rush is going to be a serviceable backup. But if you want to see what you have in that kid, that would have been a perfect opportunity to get him in there. You didn't know he was going to blow him out. You didn't know that. But I think they need to dress three quarterbacks just to see if y'all, because I think y'all going to blow some
Hmm.
teams out. And I
Hmm.
think that we need to see what Trey Lance has because if you feel like you're going to trade him after the season, you need to have some film on him to at least get something back in return for him. Go ahead, Dave. I'm
and and
sorry.
and before, hey, great, Jody, and thanks for bringing that up because I have to give Tony an apology. Last year when Dak got hurt, I said Dallas was going to go 0-5 in the games that he wasn't there. Dallas went 4-1 with Cooper Rush at QB.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Good call, Tony. I got to give you dap on that. See, I'm a benevolent host, man. I got
I
to
ain't
give the
giving him
love out.
nothing, Dave. I
No,
ain't giving that man nothing down there.
he hit me back 52 weeks after the fact. So so let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Not the best opener. They went up big. They went up big on the Patriots. Patriots kind of came back towards the end. I don't know if that's a little bit of first week fatigue or just playing a prevent defense. The Eagles get the W. What was that? 25-20, I think it was something like
25-20.
that.
25, yeah, 25-20.
Uh, Not the greatest performance in the world by the Eagles, but I'll tell you this: at this point, that town, that fan base doesn't care about style points. They just want the W. They were able to get it. We've got to start to ask a few questions here and there about what New England is doing just overall. I'm not saying they're supposed to come in there and beat
Gonzalez can
Philadelphia,
ball. That
huh?
corner they got is a future all pro. That
Who said it?
dude was
Who
balling
said it?
yesterday.
You
Who
talking about
said it?
Christian?
Sack,
Are you talking about
pass
Christian Gonzalez?
breakups, he can ball, man.
You talking about Christian Gonzalez?
Yes, indeed.
Who said
You
it?
like him?
Who?
He's an
Hey,
Oregon
Dave.
guy, right?
Yes.
I scouted that kid for 4 months. I was at the combine, the draft. I watched this kid, and I'm not saying that the kid Forbes that the Commanders got is not going to be a great player, but we see already how good Gonzalez can be. And if he was on the Commanders team with that pass rush, I'm just saying, not saying I think Forbes is going to be a good one. I do. But I think Gonzalez is going to be phenomenal, like Tony said. I think he's going to be a stud at that cornerback position. But
It,
I only scouted him for 4 months. What do I know, Tony? What
and
do I
and you
know?
know what? And you know what Belichick probably did when he called him? He probably called the kid before he drafted him and says, "Well, I don't know what position you're going to play at, but I think you're a good football player. We're going to draft you." And that's probably all he got.
Belichick didn't think he was going to get him.
Right.
Belichick didn't think he was going to
He
get him.
sure didn't, because
And
Forbes went.
guess
Because
what?
Washington went and got Forbes when I thought Washington should have gotten Gonzalez. Now,
And, and,
a lot of
and
my
like
friends here in DC are Colombian, and they were waiting to get Gonzalez. They were
and just
waiting
think
because he's
about
from
it.
Colombia, so they were real excited to get him. But look, New England got themselves a good one. They
Think
really
about
did.
it. Look at the history, the Ty Laws of the world, the J.C. Jacksons of the world, the Asani Samuels of the world,
Hmm.
the what's my guy they
Gilmore.
had Jack
Gilmore,
Johnson, Jack
yep.
Jones. They go get guys at the cornerback position and turn them into potential Hall of Famers. So hey, Bill Belichick is gonna do their thing, but if we talk about the game itself, don't count out the New England Patriots.
Okay.
I was ready to bury Mac Jones, and I had to resurrect that man's career because
Hmm.
he didn't have Dev, who's not on the show. We talked about it. He made something clear to me. He didn't really have a good offensive coordinator. He had a defensive coordinator calling plays for him last year, Matt Patricia. Then they had a special teams coach trying to coach him in Judd. Neither one of those guys were neither successful at the head coaching position at their
Hmm.
respective spots that they went to. But if you look at New England, they was trying to feed Zeke a lot. I don't think that's the move. I think that they need to still go back to Stevenson, who was a 1,000-yard rusher from a year
Hmm.
ago. Matt Jones was cooking. I don't know if Philly is maybe just need to gel a little bit more with all those new pieces. But Jalen
They'll
Hurts
be
looked like
okay.
he had a little bit of rust on him.
They'll be all right.
I, I think they're going to be fine. It was a hostile environment. Tom Brady came back to get his number retired. That energy was in that stadium. You saw him kissing Kraft. So you know that it was a lot. They were 1 inch away from actually winning that game. The rookie Boutique couldn't drag that foot on that fourth down, and they
Mm,
potentially could have won that game.
possibly. Now, we've talked about some great stories to start the week off. Let's talk about some of the disappointments. My big disappointment, aside from the Giants, that opener for the Chicago Bears, that was Justin Fields is too far down the road, and I'm a fan. I love the kid, but the time for excuses for Justin Fields is over. This is a big year for him. This is a big year. If he doesn't have a big year and get the Bears to the playoffs, they could be looking for a new quarterback in the draft. I really think that something needs to change in Chicago. I don't know if it's Fields, but you don't bring DJ Moore in there on a big free agent contract and only give him the targets that they gave him. I think the last one I looked, it was well into the third quarter. I think he'd been targeted 5 times. What's the point? You're wasting money. DJ Moore must get the football for this team in Chicago to succeed. And the only guy that can get him the football is Justin Fields, or they're going to have to find somebody that can make it work.
Dave, I don't want not so fast in my Lee Corso voice because the reason why DJ Moore didn't touch the ball is a guy on the other side of the ball named Jair Alexander. America, if you don't know who he is, he's a top 3 cornerback in this game. And Justin Fields, the problem with the Bears is I looked and seen it looked like they didn't have an identity. They didn't know what they wanted to do offensively. They were sporadic. They didn't know if they want to run the ball. They didn't know if they want to, do a read option offense. They did not look like they were prepared. They still look like they were still in week 2 of preseason. And I don't think Justin Fields is the problem. Let's look. The defense gave up 31 points. They gave up 7 off the intercept. They gave up 31 points to a quarterback named Jordan Love, which I told y'all he was going to be, it wasn't going to be much of a difference when it came to him and Aaron Rodgers. And we lost Dave for a minute. But Tony,
I'm still here.
oh, Jordan Love is. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I called it before the season started. I said this guy's gonna be the real guy. I didn't say he's gonna be all world. He's not gonna be Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, but he has potential of being a really. He throws a really good ball. He missed some throws and still had 3 touchdown passes.
Hold on, my friend. They always beat the Bears.
Doesn't matter.
And
He
I'm
never
not
beat him.
knocking Jordan Love, but like I said with Dallas, and I'm going to say with Jordan Love, let's give him to week 3, week 4, week 5, and see how things roll out.
He's going to struggle, Tony. Every quarterback in their first year are going to struggle. But right now, we got to focus on a week-by-week basis. And in week 1, he passed the test. He had 3 touchdown passes.
Hey, Jody, let me say this to you. There was 3 things that was like death and taxes yesterday. The Cowboys beating the Giants for the 11th, 12th time. The Cleveland Browns dominating the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh.
And the Green Bay Packers destroying the Chicago Bears. Those were like death and taxes yesterday. So those fan bases, let's not get too happy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's let it play out. Because
now, I'm gonna get happy. I don't know if it's time to talk about the Browns yet, but I'm gonna get happy. And if we may, Dave, are we still talking about the other one? Which one are we talking about? Because I can't wait.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Can I sink my teeth into this one?
Go ahead.
The major takeaway from that, and I'm gonna start off with something negative. Jack Conklin, the starting right tackle, is gone for the year. He just signed the extension, and now he's gone for the year. But the Cleveland Browns and Andrew Berry better get some credit because guess what they did? They went and drafted potentially the best right tackle in this draft, Juwan Jones from Ohio State. He came in, 0 sacks. He didn't need any help on that right side. His feet were live. He protected Deshaun Watson, and he was an animal in the run game. We potentially could be looking at a future All-Pro player at that position. I'm gonna go ahead
Hey,
and say it.
listen,
I said it. Now,
I
the other
I sent
takeaway
you
I
that
got,
Instagram, right? You saw
yeah.
Wyatt Teller walk the dog, didn't you?
Oh, you
He
showed me that, and
walked
I
the
was like,
he
oh my.
walked the dog.
And he's right next to Wyatt Teller. So this can get ugly for everybody in the AFC because guess what happened? Lazarius Smith, that guy, he didn't record 1 sack, Tony. He didn't have one. But the way they was moving him around, the intensity, I have never seen somebody on the other side of Myles Garrett come with the same type of intensity that Myles Garrett had. They were able to move Myles Garrett all over the field. He did something like a basketball play. He acted like he was, what's up, Dad? What's
What's
up,
up,
Dad?
fella?
How
Hey,
you feeling?
Devon.
What's up,
Hey,
fellas?
he was up there like he was dribbling the ball. They rushed him up the middle. They dropped him in the coverage. And what Nick Chubb,
What's up, brother?
right there. Nick Chubb was another day at the
We
office for
on
Nick
this.
Chubb. It was just
I'm
another
on the
day at the office.
podcast,
But what I was
and
most
I'm trying to
impressed
get
with,
over
and
to
this is why I think we're gonna be a contender,
my
Dad.
messages. How you
Jim
doing? I
Schwartz
heard
as
y'all
the
was busy.
defensive coordinator is the real deal. He was pushing all the right buttons that Joe Wood could not push. He had Denzel
Did you
Ward
do
playing
well?
elite football. He had Greg Newsome playing elite football. He had Emerson playing elite football. He had Greg Dilper. We was out Thornhill. We were out Thornhill. People forget we were out the free agent acquisition from Kansas City. We did not have him yesterday. The D line was all over the place. Tomlinson was stopping the run, something that we couldn't do. That's why, Tony, that's why I'm going to overreact with Cleveland. I'm going to overreact with Cleveland. The simple fact is we did stuff that I've never seen Cleveland do in probably about 30 years. They played a complete game on defense.
As we welcome in Devon Mason. How you doing, Dev?
What's
What's up,
up,
fellas?
Dev?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, how did it go this weekend for your guys at Potomac, man? How'd your high school team do?
We had the week off.
You had the week off. Hey, it's
Yeah,
a good week to have off in the DC area because all the storms and everything. So,
yeah, we had a
guy,
bye. So
yeah, you guys had a
that was
bye. You guys two
that's
and
a
zero,
blessing.
still undefeated. Okay,
Yep.
keep it rolling. Dev, we've been talking about some of the ups and downs of the first week of the NFL. I don't know if you were in the green room or caught some of it. What was your worst performance of the week? I picked the Bears because everyone's gonna pick, everyone's gonna pick,
The
the
Giants.
Giants. I think the Bears were awful. Well, who was your worst performance? Seattle.
Man,
I mean, you could go down the list. There were some bad ones out there.
uh, I'm I probably would go to Bears, but I mean the Bears is still a big question mark with Justin Fields and his passing. And so for me, I wasn't surprised at how anemic their offense still looked because everyone got excited in the preseason when he threw 3 screen passes and the receivers just housed him for 60 yards apiece. And it looked like he was the second coming. He didn't throw the ball down the field beyond 12 yards the whole preseason. So we don't know what he can really do pushing the ball down the field still. We know he can run. He's an elite talent with his legs. We know he can throw the ball deep, but he can't read a defense. He just can't. He has one read and he's gone. I
We,
think the worst performance to me, honestly, if I'm being honest, was the Minnesota Vikings because they played a Buccaneers team with Baker Mayfield who's on his last leg and he played really well. And I thought to a man that was a very winnable game for Minnesota at home, knowing they got to travel to play the Eagles on Thursday night. You need to beat the
oh,
Buccaneers,
oh, that's gonna
who.
be a good one.
But see, then again, the Buccaneers still have a very good defense. Their defense hasn't completely lost everybody. They still got a good linebacking core. Their secondary is still there.
They still
They
got
still
Mike.
got
They
pass
still got Mike
rushers.
on offense. It's got
Still
Big
got
Mike.
Mike. You still got Tom. You still got what's his name? Got
Godwin.
Godwin and
Hmm.
so maybe the Bears were the worst. The Giants were absolutely a complete sieve of what I thought they'd be. I knew they'd lose, but I didn't think they'd get embarrassed like that.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, maybe, yeah,
No,
probably.
the
Who?
worst was the Bengals. The
Yeah,
worst.
probably. Yeah, the bank.
You
He
had a
threw for
quarterback
82 yards. Dude threw for 82 yards, man.
get 82 yards.
Look,
You just
look,
paid.
guys.
He's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Burrow
And
is rusty. It's obvious.
He
how?
is very rusty.
No.
His timing
He is
isn't
very
there. His
he is
timing isn't
rusty.
there,
He
and
is.
we don't know. He says that the calf feels as good as it ever has, right? We don't really know how good the calf is because he's never going to tell, and
Y'all
He
leave
he
my
thinking.
man
shouldn't.
Burrow alone. That's
I'm not
my
dissing.
quarterback. That's
Hey,
Listen,
my
look. Hey,
quarterback.
look, Tony. I don't want Joe's dad to come on the show and get after me, okay? Because I like the man, but I'm just saying
hey,
he
his
was
da-
rusty.
his
Joe was
dad
rusty.
his dad's a great guy, but yesterday, as usual, the Cleveland Browns own Joe Burrows. He's one
They
and
do.
five against Joe Burrows.
They
He
do.
is the Cleveland Browns in the last 12 games are 10-2. But the reason why I was more disappointed in that performance, T. Higgins, who was in the contract year, had 8 targets and 0 catches.
Hey, dude, you
Got
know
to
what
make the
y'all was
plays that
kind
are
of
there,
funny
guys.
about? You know what y'all was funny about yesterday? When y'all was talking about the pumpkin with Geno Smith and y'all was talking about Daniel Jones, man, I was dying laughing, man. Y'all were on
Yeah.
them two dudes, man.
Okay,
Well, that
let's
was
let's
me
let's
because
talk. Let's talk about.
Hey,
Let's talk about.
I
Let's talk
heard
about.
Jody real. Can I say one thing? I heard Jody talking about how Jim Schwartz has changed their defense, and that's a real good point because he's going to let them guys be who they are. It's not going to be none of that read and react. They're going to go get people. But
Mhm.
another thing I saw that's scary for the NFC, and I'm not a Dallas fan. I hate him with every fiber in me. They moved Marquise Bell to linebacker, the kid from Florida A&M that I wrote about.
yeah, yeah.
And that guy looked like he'd been playing there 9, 10 years. He was everywhere on the field. You got him and Michael Parsons as chess pieces that Dan Quinn is moving and
Mm.
moving around. And that is going to be hard to block because you don't know where Parsons is. He has the freedom to do whatever he wants every snap. He doesn't have really any responsibility but go get the quarterback. And when you got a guy that can do what he can do, I watched him and Miles Garrett just toy with linemen yesterday when they felt like it. They just said, you know what? We're going to Miles. I saw Miles Garrett going between his legs like he was dribbling the ball and went and got a sack. You saw that? Y'all see the highlight? He was
Yeah.
dribbling the ball at standing up, and then he just moved the center out the way and went and got Burrow. And I saw Michael Parsons on his sack. He was standing there smirking, dangling his hands, and the ball gets snapped, and he just blows right by the tackle who's looking like he's in quicksand.
And let's talk about this. Nick and Joey Bosa, Miles Garrett, Parsons,
TJ
those
Watt.
guys just it's TJ Watt. That's another level. That's another echelon.
That's
Okay.
elite,
And
man. That's
everybody
elite.
else is a cut below that. And it's an important cut to talk about. Those guys can impact a game in 2 series and mess
Yep.
your whole offense up. Put
Yep.
points on the board, set up points, but the development of Parsons is key. You're going to see Dallas do some more shedding on contracts because they have got to get this guy signed. There's no doubt about it. They've already given Diggs has gotten his money. He's going to be around a couple more years. He's got his money. The next money that's coming is going to be Parsons. That's all there is to it. It's only a matter of time. They cannot. Dallas cannot let this guy get to get to free agency. They just can't let that happen.
Hey, Dev, ain't
It
nobody
won't
ain't
happen.
nobody worried
It
about
won't.
Dallas, man. Like
Yeah.
for real. Even though Dallas won the game, they still the Cowboys, man. Ain't
See,
nobody worried about the Cowboys. The Cowboys gonna go 12-5, and they're gonna lose in the first or the second round. So let's move on to something else.
okay, let's talk about something else. Seattle Seahawks.
The problem with the Seattle Seahawks, Dev, and we talked about it, them not getting Jalen Carter.
Can't stop the
And
run.
that was the issue right now. Detroit and Seattle are going to regret not drafting Jalen Carter when they had the opportunity to do so.
That would have been a great move, and we were and we'll toot our own horn. Everybody here on the show, we all were waiting for that pick to happen when Seattle came up.
Yeah,
When
that's
that tackle didn't come off the board there, we that's a worry. And what we saw yesterday, the Rams just looked kind of like the Rams of old. They just did what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They just
well.
they look like the Rams of old. Look, Aaron Donald had on a stunt. Aaron Donald came in on Geno Smith on a stunt, and
Yeah.
Geno was mic'd up yesterday, and he said
Yeah.
he
Oh
saw him
shit.
coming. He said, "Oh my God." You
Yep.
can hear it
Yep.
on the
Yep.
tape.
Yep.
Uh,
You can hear it. Yep.
I'm not
Yep.
going to listen. I ain't laughing at the dude. Aaron Donald came off that stunt like he was shot out of a cannon, and this dude is about to retire. He trying to retire, and he's still running like that. Man, get him off the field before he hurts somebody.
And they did it without Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup is on the IR.
Yeah,
But they got
Cooper
a new
Cup is on
guy
the
named
IR.
Two.
That's right.
Hey, I got to
From
give Dev
BYU, the
credit.
guy from BYU.
I
Yeah,
got to give
Two
Dev
Fat
credit. Dev called that right there. When I was all hype on Seattle, Dev said, watch the Rams go in there and beat them. And I was like, boy, you lost your damn mind.
I still think Seattle can be a good ball club. I just think
Oh, I do too.
they
Me
But
too.
underestimated the Rams because everybody
yesterday
in the
they got
league,
punched in the mouth.
everybody in the league underestimated the Rams, including myself. I had the Rams maybe winning 4 to 5 games this year because I thought Matthew Stafford was done. But evidently, Matthew Stafford is showing that he's not done. And the reason why I say this, though, y'all know, in his, outside of last game, his last 28 games, he had 28 interceptions.
What's up, bro?
That
Hey,
was the problem for me.
Hey, Joe,
hey,
do you remember what Raheem Morris told us at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
What
Yep.
he said, I said, what did you do when you blitzed Burrow on the last play? He said, fuck it. Why die slow?
Yeah.
The Rams said, fuck it. We're not gonna let Geno Smith stand back here.
Right.
They came after him all game yesterday.
Hey,
hey.
hold
Yeah.
on. Y'all see JB just put up a thing talking about let's talk about Chase Young.
Let's
Let's
do
Now,
talk
that.
about it.
Dev,
Let's talk.
y'all
Let's
need
talk
to
about that.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me give a disclaimer. That's Jody's college and that's Dev's team. So let's talk about Chase Young. I'm gonna let y'all talk about it.
Well,
He's
I'll,
done.
I'll
He's
take
done
it.
here, man.
I'll take an opening shot. I'll take an opening
He's
shot.
done here, man.
Sweat played great yesterday.
Yes, he did.
He
Yes, he did.
honestly, in a game where the Cardinals were trying to lose because they're already tanking, they're already tanking, and we know this. They were trying to lose that game.
No, they not, man. Y'all
listen.
They were trying to lose, and Washington almost gave them the game. They
I
almost
think
gave
Washington's
them that
terrible. Hey,
game.
man, Washington's terrible. They're awful.
No, Washington is not terrible. Washington is
Ron is
finding
awful.
itself. No, Washington is finding itself. They literally are finding themselves. Sam Howell finding his way, first year starter. This is his second start as a pro yesterday, and he's going on. Washington's on the road in Denver, right?
Yes.
They're going out to Denver. This will probably be his first time playing at altitude. So he's going out to Denver to play the Broncos. I don't know what to expect from the Broncos this year. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. But if the Broncos do not win that game, there is a problem.
Well,
They
this
should
is the
win.
thing.
The Broncos should be able to win that game. I'm not going to say handily, but they should win that game by a field goal. What's the mile high worth? Is it worth 3 points?
It's
Well,
three
they
and a
should
half right
win.
now.
They're going to win because they're going to be desperate. They can't go 0-2 in the AFC. They can't do
That's
it. They have to be
not in the
desperate.
AFC West.
And then losing 2 home games too.
No,
They can't
can't
do
do
it.
that. Yeah,
But
They can't.
and
Chase, go. I'm sorry.
yeah. As far as Chase Young is concerned, he's out what 4 games, right?
Three
He's
or
out the
four.
first
Whatever.
about 3 more games.
Yeah,
He
something like
has
that.
literally got to hit the ground like running. This has been one of the bigger disappointments for a draft pick on the defensive side in a long time. He's
What?
been very disappointing. He just can't stay healthy, and that's an issue,
Okay.
major issue.
Let me jump here, Dave. I'm an
Go
Ohio
ahead.
State guy. And Chase Young, we just forget that he was the defensive rookie of the year. I understand he has to step up and he can't stay healthy, but it's a lot of guys like a Joey Bosa. I've seen other guys struggle with injuries and come back and still have great careers. I don't think Chase Young will be a Commander after week 6. When he
Wow,
comes back, he's going to be traded.
you're calling a trade.
He will be traded.
AFC team.
It's got to be. They're not going. Because the NFC is so. He's not going to Philly. He's not going to Dallas. He's not going to the Giants. I can see a team that might be desperate for a pass rusher that has a. Let's look at teams that has the.
Nah, it's good
Equity.
when people in
Guess who has the equity there?
Who's
The
that?
Houston Texans. The Houston Texans have draft equity, and that would benefit both teams. If Chase Young went to a young upstart team, he can be on the other side of Will Anderson Jr. and he can get a new start under a great head coach and D'Amico Ryans, and then Washington in return can get some type of draft compensation. Both teams win.
I like
What
that. That's
about
similar to
what
what
about?
Jadeveon Clowney did when he ended up in Houston. Same
Right.
same type of situation.
Right.
I think a team to look out for is in the NFC is Minnesota because they got to start making Justin Jefferson happy. You got to start getting guys in there that can play defense and play both and keep because he did not look happy sitting on that bench yesterday. That was not a good look for them
Don't
at the
do
end
it,
of that
Tony.
game.
Don't do it.
So
He's not making
But
that much money, Tony. He's on a rookie deal. He ain't
But
stealing checks.
he
who
had nine. Oh no, he had 9 catches, 150 yards. Tony, like let's
Chase
not.
Young. Chase
Oh,
Young ain't stealing
you talking
checks,
about
Tony.
Chase? I thought you talking about Chase.
no, Justin Jefferson did all he could do yesterday. It's not his fault that
Nope.
his quarterback throws an interception in the end zone, down in the goal line area. And, so for me, Minnesota has plenty of draft equity. I think that would be a good move for him to get out of here. I just think it's time to move on. Montez Sweat is going to probably get the contract, the one that they're
He's
going to
got
give
to.
out here. So,
He's got to. You
and
got
he's
to give him the
he's just
deal.
more reliable. He's more reliable. He isn't injured. He's a better run stopper than Chase. Now, better pass rusher. I mean, they kind of equal in that area. I think Sweat is a little better because he's healthier all the time. And I just don't know. When I look at the Bosa guys and I look at, Tamba Ali and all these other guys that Larry Johnson coached, at one time Larry Johnson said that Chase Young had the most upside of all of them, but it hasn't translated yet. It just hasn't translated.
You,
I don't know if it ever will. I don't know
hey,
if it ever
Dev,
will. I
let
don't
me
know.
let me jump in here, Dev. And you said the word upside. What's his floor? That's the other issue. Everyone talks about a guy's upside, but they never talk about his floor. What is Chase Young's floor? And I think that's where he probably needs to start discussing, the next phase in his career. I don't think it will be here in DC,
Me
unfortunately.
neither. Me
And
neither.
honestly, just the fact that he went to high school here, he's from here. I think getting away from the DC area might be the best thing for him. I'm just, as a young athlete, right? You've got the Dematha thing falling on top of you, and growing up here, it's the expectations, and if he hasn't met those expectations, the ones he set for himself, a change of scenery might do the man good. What do you think about that, Tony? You're on mute, Tony.
He's on
TK,
mute.
you're on.
He can't hear. But
Oh, he
just
can't hear us.
I
Okay,
think
go
with
ahead,
I
Jody.
think I like the move to Minnesota, but I just think if I'm the Commanders, I'm not giving him an opportunity to have to play that guy again because we do know how good and how much talent that Chase Young has. I'm not taking that risk of playing that guy potentially in a regular season game or even in a playoff game. I'm not that, and we're not thinking about this year, but maybe down the road. I think Houston, like I said, Houston has a lot of money that can, and they got a lot of draft picks that won't affect them because they got those draft picks from Cleveland, and they're able to move something and not really affect their draft, even though they did trade away a first-round draft pick to get Will Anderson. But I think D'Amico Ryans is going to be extremely aggressive, as we seen early on, going to make sure he got CJ Stroud, and when it got Will Anderson, both of those guys were potentially could have easily have been number one picks in this draft. So I like the fact that he wants to win and he wants to win now. I don't think D'Amico Ryans want to be like, you know what, maybe 2 years, because we know Houston head coaches don't have a long life expectancy. So they
Sure
need
don't.
to win and win now. They have just acquired this is their third African American coach in 3 years, and I think that it's cool that they're hiring African American coaches, but they need to let them have some time to really build an organization. And I think D'Amico Ryans is that guy. Getting Chase Young, giving him a brand new start. I think D'Amico Ryans is a great mentor. I would love to see him go to Houston.
Let's pivot off that. You talked about CJ Stroud getting his first start yesterday. Uh, Ups and downs. What did you think about the rookie on the first go round, the rookie for out of Ohio State?
If you ask me, I think that he did exactly what I thought he would do. Dev is a
Okay.
quarterback guru, and he made some good throws, made some bad reads, missed a couple guys. But I'm an Ohio State fan once again, and I remember just a couple years ago after he played Oregon and we lost, and people was ready to hang him. What's up,
Hey,
Hector?
Hector.
They were ready to, in Ohio State country, they were ready to get rid of C.J. Stroud just after the game we lost to Oregon. So he made some bad reads in that game, which he played against a Raven defense who was very aggressive. We know the Ravens defense is extremely, extremely, extremely aggressive, and I think that was a good measurement. And he produced pretty much what I thought he would do.
Hey, Dev, let me get you in here real quick. On the three rookie quarterbacks that started yesterday, Stroud, Bryce Young in Carolina, and Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis. What did you think of those three guys? And we'll get Cody in after that. You're on mute, Dev.
I thought they all looked like rookies, and they all had moments. I thought Anthony Richardson probably looked the best of the three. I thought he made some really, but as Trevor Lawrence told him at the end of the game he got to protect himself better. He gets hit too much already, and he limped off the field late in that game too under his own power. But he looked like he was in some pain. I think it was more like a slight sprain of the ankle somewhere. But Bryce Young, all three have to understand that the speed of the game is so much different at this level. I watched all of them get sacked on the same blitz yesterday, the same A-gap delayed pressure blitz where the linebacker is kind of standing, and then at the snap, he kind of holds and he just comes. And the thing is, he literally, before you can blink, he's on top of you. And I think they did, in college, you didn't see that. You don't see guys doing that too much. In this league, I think Patrick Queen got a hold of Stroud yesterday. I saw the linebacker for the Jaguars. I can't think of how you say his name. The one with that name that had 150 something tackles last year.
I know you're talking about. I know exactly.
He got to Anthony Richardson in the blink of an eye, and I saw the linebacker for the Falcons get Bryce Young twice yesterday with the same blitz, and it's because, again, the speed is different at this level, and I think it's a process. It's a growing thing, and they're going to all get better. And they're gonna take their lumps, and they all same thing with Sam Howell. All of them gonna take their lumps, and Desmond Ridder had his lumps yesterday. It just you have to play, man. You have to go through this to become a better quarterback.
Jordan Love did not have his lumps. Jordan Love three touchdowns, no interceptions.
He looked good. Yeah,
he looked really good.
Passes?
Huh?
Didn't he only throw like 10 passes?
Didn't need to.
Do 27.
Did he?
Yeah, he was like 19. He was like 18
19 to 28, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
So we're going to keep an eye. And guys, throughout the weeks, I'm going to throw that in just to let y'all know. I'll talk about it in production. I'm going to throw the rookie quarterbacks or the first-year starters. I'm going to throw a lot of their names in there. Hey, how this guy do, how that guy do. So thanks for doing that really seamlessly without me telling y'all beforehand. So sorry for throwing that in. Real quick, before we get off, we have got to get Cody Bennett in here.
Yes.
Cody, you've got to get my fantasy lineup set up.
Yeah,
talk to me,
good,
baby.
Man?
Yeah, man.
Win me some money.
What I'm running for tonight, because you can go in and do your flex plays. They have a couple different championships. Definitely check out FanDuel, DraftKings, wherever you run them. But for the flex plays tonight, there's some good deals out there. I'm running with Josh Allen. He's the most expensive off the board. 17.5 is where you can get him at. I'm running James Cook at 11,000. I'm also running Dalton Kincaid, who I think is going to get out there on some vertical routes tonight and be used in the pass game a lot. He's only for 7,000. You can get him cheap right now. And then I'm running Aaron Rodgers and Greg Zuerlein.
Okay.
I think you got a great lineup to get you guys some money, so I can hurry up and go get that in. You got 6 minutes and 25 seconds to start that lineup.
I'm about to get off right now. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Greg Zuerlein still kicking in this league. Hey, Dev, if you need to jump off and make your
Greg the leg, don't they? Greg the
leg.
Legatron.
Legatron. Yeah.
Hey, Dev, if you got to jump off, do your thing, man.
All right,
appreciate you, bro.
All right, man.
Hey, Cody, thanks for the Bennett breakdown, but I want to talk to Jody real quick. Want to run one more thing before we sign off. Jody, from the show, we got your back, buddy. Anytime you need us, okay? We got you. And the family. All right?
No doubt, man.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight on the TD Report. I'm here with Cody from South Beach. We got our man Jody Coleman out in the Midwest. Thanks to Devin Mason for joining the show. We really appreciate y'all. We are going to be back on Thursday, okay, as usual. We'll be there for the Thursday night game. We're going to be at Tom's Watch Bar, National Harbor. If you can't be there, jump online. We're going to be on there. What time, Cody? Around 7:30?
Right around 7:30. You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Spotify.
Yep. Well, those will be live. If you can't catch us live, you can always listen to us on Spotify at any time on your car ride the next morning into work, whenever you want. Check us out on Spotify.
Check us out. We really appreciate everybody that joined us last week at Tom's. We're going to be back again. Jody, you're going to be with us on Thursday, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. One thing, I got two things I want to say. I want to thank you guys for the support that y'all showed me with, my situation and whatnot. So I want to say that. It means a lot, man. It really, really do, man. And it means a lot to my family.
Absolutely.
But on a football note, I want to talk about in party that the value of the running back position is evident. We only had 3 100-yard running backs this week. We only had 3 running backs that had over 20 carries this week. So I think the NFL is trying to make a true statement that running back position is not as important. We had several quarterbacks that was in the league, the top 20 in rushing, i.e. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun
Hmm.
Watson, Justin Fields, just to name Anthony Richardson, just to name a few. I'm really scared for the running back position, Cody. I'm really scared for that position.
I hear you loud and clear, and I agree. But the only thing that I think is a bit of a saving grace here is backs being able to cater more towards pass catching and that check down role and kind of keep their value in that sense. Because I mean, you see these pass catching running backs right now; they're the ones garnering the deals that are being signed, and the other ones are holding out. And I think it's just that aspect of kind of being able to run more of the pass game because that's just the league we're in. It's just more about the pass. They want to get 4 yards in every play, and it's easier to do it by throwing that thing through the air sometimes.
When
And,
we
that
get Dev back, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody. My fault. When we get Devin back on the show, I want to talk to him about the running backs position specifically as far as going vertical routes. I think not just, stop routes or stick routes, but I think you could get wheel routes. I think those will work.
there
I
was
think
a
there's a
there was a couple touchdowns scored with some nice wheel routes this week, and that's what I was going to say, Jody. The no 100-yard running backs this week was that, or 3 you said, was that on purpose or just on the ground? You're saying running.
I'm just talking about on the ground. Like we
It's on
had
the
Nick
ground.
Chubb,
Yeah.
McCaffrey, and Austin Eckler all went over 100, and only 3.
I think we might get a good chance to see a guy tonight. I am very, very, very big on James Cook with Buffalo.
Excellent.
He showed
Hey,
a
is
lot.
Micah Hyde playing tonight?
I did not see.
Is he back off the knee injury?
I'll say I didn't see an inactive, but
Love that guy. I think he's a heck of a football player.
Oh yeah,
They're going to need
I
him
hope
this. They're going to need him this year. DeMar Hamilton will not play tonight. I
he
do know
won't
that.
be playing today.
yeah, I got
But
the
Is he even active?
report right
I don't
here.
even
No,
know
he's
if
not
active.
active.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
not active.
Inactives are Damar Hamlin's inactive, Elam, Kingsley, Jonathan, Ifedi, Alec Anderson. That's it. Nah, so yeah, Hyde, what's his name should be out there.
I'll be looking for him. If he doesn't play tonight, honestly, he's a big part of that defense. And I thought losing him last year was a major blow, just in general to all the emotional stuff they had with DeMar Hamilton being injured. But that'll do it for this edition of the TD Report. I'm your host, David Combs, here with Jody Coleman signing off, here with South Beach Cody. Want to thank our host, Tony TK Kennedy, out there at Tom's Watch Bar. Again, catch us on Thursday, 7:30, Tom's Watch Bar. If you want to come by beforehand, watch us set up. Who do we have? We have Gary Clark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gary Clark should be out there.
Gary Clark will be there. Two-time Super Bowl champion Gary Clark will be there. So definitely want to check you guys out, and I'm excited to be there. Enjoy the Monday Night Football, guys. We got Buffalo against the Jets.
Yeah.
Give me Buffalo tonight.
I'm taking Buffalo too.
Buffalo, absolutely, and I got a big game from James Cook at the running back.
Excellent.
Hey,
thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, to America, 9/11. We haven't forgotten.
9/11.
We have not forgot.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Great show.